Herman, hello.
Taran, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I could be better. I'm just kidding. No, I'm happy. I'm good.
All right. Well, who do you feel is most responsible for this eviction?
Martin. Marty. Yeah, Marty. Definitely Marty. I mean, the man was head of household. The man promised me safety for a week. I also promised him the same if I won. He didn't follow through on his deal. He also backstabbed Gino twice, was a rogue vote, yada, 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 yada. It's Marty. Marty.
Right.
Marty.
Okay. Well, as a juror, you have a lot of responsibility. What is your criteria or philosophy when it comes to casting your vote for a winner?
Yeah, I think there's three things. Number one, I want to know what your strategy was in this game. And if you say, I just wanted to go in there and figure it out, see you later. Number two, I want to know specific game moves that you made in the game. If you were absolutely floating your way to final two, well, you can float your way out the house. And number three is I want to know that you were loyal to the people you were loyal with. You know what I mean? Like, you're loyal to. It doesn't have to be loyalty to me. I would just love to see some type of loyalty. And maybe there's things I didn't know. I don't know right now, but if you can explain to me, your loyalty and that in the game, then that'll all go into my decision.
All right. Well, I'm gonna run through the remaining players in the game, and I want you to give me your thoughts on their game, how likely you think you are to vote for them if they make it to the final two, and what they would need to do in the game to sort of like get your vote in the end.
This is cool.
Awesome. So let's start with Betty.
Yeah. Okay. So, wait. What am I?
Go ahead. No. How do you feel about Betty's game overall?
Betty's game is, I think, it's been a bit in the back burner a little bit. I mean, she's been thrown up as a pawn a few times, but I think she's made like way deeper personal connections than I think I realized.
Mm-hmm. How likely do you think you would be to vote for her if she made it to the end?
I think I'd be pretty likely. I mean, it depends who decide, but my Habesha sister, I mean, it's, I gotta, I don't know. I feel like that'd be a tough one for me. It'd be hard not to vote for her.
What would you like to see from her game if to like lock in, like, oh, I would definitely vote for her?
Oh, I'd love to see her get a W doing something. You need a win. I think you gotta get some type of a W and something. Head of household, veto, shit. Something, just something.
All right. How about Gino? How do you feel about Gino's game?
I love Gino's game. Like, I mean, you got to think like this guy in a showman's, was considered a threat physically the whole time, goes in and wins a mental comp, week 4, goes in and backdoors his boy, Kyle, and the showman's is still surviving and not being looked at as a threat. Like that's pretty impressive to pivot that at that point in the game. So that's pretty good.
If Gino's in the final two, how likely do you think you would be to vote for him?
Yeah, pretty likely.
Yeah.
Pretty likely. Yeah, it depends, We'll see that.
What about like what if we categorize them as like very likely, pretty likely, maybe, and like, probably not.
Okay. I would throw a pretty likely.
All right. What would you want to see from Gino in the game to like kick that up a level?
I would love some more W's. Like I love when I just think people in power having to make decisions and show their cards and then defend those decisions in the next week. That is like, it's one of the toughest positions in the game to be in because you don't get an opportunity to play for HOH again. So you have to strategize, come up with the right decision, and know how to defend them for your next week. So I think a W from him or Jace would be admirable. Sorry, leave Jace out of it for Gino.
All right. What about Helena? How do you feel about Helena's game?
She's playing a game. She's in the game. Yeah, she's in the game. She's in the game.
Okay. How likely do you think you'd be to vote for her in the end?
What was the last option?
No? Probably not.
Yeah, I'll take a no for 10,000.
What could she do to win your vote? Just more W's?
I would just say like, yeah, I mean, obviously a win or something, but like she would really have to explain to me because she has been integral in swing vote situations. with with Josh's vote, I really felt like she was an important decider in that. Which just have to clearly explain to me how influential she was in the game with those decisions.
Okay. How about Jace? How do you feel about Jace's game?
Jace is like this little bug, just so lovable. Like, Jace's game it's so non-threatening, but threatening. It's like, goes in, put her on the block, beast comes out and wins like one of the hardest challenges, with I think it was Cake Masters. Like, just that thing was incredibly hard. And I can't even, maybe didn't, translate, but it was so hard. So yeah, like I think she's playing a great game, and I think she is shielded by Gino, and she does have great personal relationships with the ladies and with Josh, and with Kevin, really good with Kevin. So I just, I think Jace is positioned pretty well too.
What do you think? How likely are you to vote for Jace?
I'd say pretty likely too. I would say pretty likely, but she'd still have to explain to me really what she did personally to try. Maybe she was an influence in Gino's ear for certain big decisions when they went 2 votes, against me, or 2 votes in a different part of the season, right? So, if she can thoroughly explain those to me, then yeah.
All right. How about Josh? How do you feel about Josh's game?
Oh man, Josh could I feel like Josh could win the award for the most beloved person in the house. Like, I mean, got thrown up as a backdoor option, and everyone absolutely rebelled and broke up their alliances. You know what I mean? It was just like no one wanted to see Josh go, and it's just hard to. There's nothing you don't love about Josh. So, I think Josh is playing a good game. He's been seen as a threat because I think he's finished second 8 times, like 7 times or 8 times. Roll the tapes. Like and he even says, he's like, I'm always a bridesmaid, never a bride. And we're like, shit, you're probably right. So, but yeah, he's playing a good game.
How likely do you think you'd be to vote for him?
Oh, even though he absolutely stabbed me in the back here last week, or this, week 5 with the vote, week 6 with the vote. It'd take me a minute to get over that, but I think I'd say likely.
Okay. How about Kevin? How do you feel about Kevin's game?
Up until this veto, I'd say Kevin was also a participant in the game. One of the participants. That's about it.
How likely would you be to vote for Kevin?
0 out of 10.
What could Kevin do to get your vote?
I think his one game move in week 6, finally he decided to play, was using the veto and to put me up and take me out. So if he can give me at least a couple more game moves that he does, then he is absolutely back in the running. But if that's your claim to fame, buddy, deuces.
All right. How about Marty?
Martin. Marty, dirty game. Filthy. Just filthy. And somehow hasn't had to pay for his sins. Like, I really feel like people nervous to call out Marty, or were threatened by him playing in comps and winning. And I mean, he's 42. He's not actually 43. So stop with that 43 stuff. But he's turning 43. Shit, I'm 30. Like, I'm not 30 yet, but I'm 30. Like, anyways. But he's playing a good game, and I think he threatens a lot of people, and he's a big player, and people just got to start calling him out and making him pay for these decisions that he's making.
Would you vote for him in the end?
If Marty could get to the end after this chaotic sequence of weeks, it'd be hard not to.
All right.
It'd be pretty impressive.
How about Moose?
My dog, that's Moosey Moose. Moose is playing a very interesting game as well too. Like, very loud, outspoken, always giving his opinion and always trying to impose, his will when someone's got power. That's Moose. Like, he's never going to change. So it rubs some people the wrong way, aka week 3 Cal. But there's power in that. Like, I think letting people know where you're at and what you think and giving them that can be used against you because you're giving information, a lot of information, but it also can work to your benefit.
All right. How likely are you to vote for Moose?
I don't know how big the Richter scale is, but the highest number on the Richter scale.
All right. What about Summer?
Yeah, Summer's playing like a very like in your face, but like behind the scenes kind of game. Like, Summer's there. There's no question Summer's there. But she has been in every powerful discussion within the game. Give or take a few, like maybe a couple, but she has been influential in those decisions. With the decision to put Kyle up, for Kevin to use the veto, for the decision she made in the veto to call out Gino instead of Kevin. Just things that she's done along the way. She hasn't had to have power to have an impact on the game.
How likely would it be to vote for her?
I'd be pretty likely. I'm still salty that she didn't vote for me, but I'm sure that'll go away.
All right. A couple of quick ones here. Who's your most likely person you'd vote for? Who's the least likely person you'd vote for?
Most likely Moose. Least likely Kevin.
All right. Did the goodbye messages have any impact on how you saw any of the players?
Yeah, I think Josh's and Kevin's for sure. I think Josh, felt like he couldn't trust me, which was just bizarre to me. Like I felt like we were almost playing two different games. Like, well, we definitely were playing two different games. Like, so I had blind trust with Josh and Kevin saying that he was, he's been wanting this for a while, and I think he did a good job in hiding that. I didn't feel the threat from Kevin, even though I was threatening his game, So he did a good job of hiding that from me.
What was your reaction to being told you'd be in the jury?
Oh, yeah, speechless. I was already thinking of, which flight I was going to catch and if I knew how to use a phone again, or if driving was going to be like riding a bike, or if I, get into an accident. Like I was just totally going in like different directions. And all of a sudden I was going to jury.
There you go. One last one. Who would you have taken to the final two if you had the option?
Jace.
All right.
Yeah, I think I would have had a good chance of beating Jace.
All right. Thank you so much, Herman.
Thank you.